And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective to current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truths centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. Listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate platform here with our #1 goal to help our consumers win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
And we have a QAA formula with this show. You're going to have questions about this great content. We're going to provide you action items and answers. But so we want to engage, we want to entertain, and most importantly, engage here. So how can you do that? You can reach out to our consumer advocate hotline. We want you to pull out your smartphone and save this number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894. Get that number, and also realestateradiotampa.com is our website, blog site, a plethora of information there at realestateradiotampa.com. Bookmark that site. Any questions, concerns that you may have with anything real estate, business, finance related, home services, over 50 different show partners now associated with the Real Estate Quarterback Show's consumer advocacy platform. And I don't care if you're if you're climbing that corporate ladder, if you're throwing a ladder in your truck on the way to work every day, this show's for you. We want to help you sort through a lot of the nonsense out there, and we want to be a turnkey solution for you, and somewhere that you can go for advice, or maybe you just need a quality introduction to some folks here in Tampa Bay. We partner up with the best. And speaking of the best, we've got Michael Lacinco. He's our Safe Money coach here in studio. Welcome back.
Thanks, Brandon. Good to be here.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about the market and things happening there as well, and further our consumer advocate platform. And we also have co-host The Wolf, Jason Salmon, in studio.
Thanks, Brandon. Always good to be here. Today we got another edition of Ask the Real Estate Quarterback, as well as some other news in real estate and finance, so stay tuned.
And now I know for sure I just added 2 more guys to my wolf pack.
And so we got a 27-acre ranch here in Tampa Bay. I want to touch on a couple of hot listings that we've got, as well as promote our this segment is brought to you by Freedom Boat Club, the official recreation partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Freedom Boat Club, 13 locations here in Tampa Bay, and it's located there's multiple locations, but the primary location here in South Tampa is right by Hula Bay, which is our restaurant partner as well. One of the best kept secrets in all of Tampa Bay. Beautiful waterfront dining, great decor and ambiance, and great sushi and food. And Freedom Boat Club, what a great opportunity. If you're out there thinking about buying a boat, you got to visit Mike Craig, talk to him, take a boat ride with him, and learn all of the advantages of just showing up with your cooler and some towels, taking the boat out for the day, and not having to worry about insurance and repairs and all that fun stuff. So, the old joke is the best day of a boater's life, right? The day you buy it and the day you sell it. So
exactly.
The 2 best days, that is. So Hula Bay, shouts out to Mike Finnegan. He's the general manager there. And Freedom Boat Club, shouts out to Mike Craig. Say hello. Tell him the Real Estate Quarterback sent you for some special incentives and advice there. So let's jump back. Let's jump into this great content here. We got a 27-acre ranch that just listed up in Tampa. It's $49,000 an acre for the first 10 acres there. It's just south of the Citrus Park Mall and just to the west of Sheldon Road. Great opportunity if you're looking for some developed land to develop there, or potentially to keep it intact as a ranch. And we also have a property at 9807 Bay Island Drive. It's in beautiful Bayport Village. 5 bedrooms, 3 1/2 bath. It's a very custom high-end home situated on a gorgeous lake with bay access. Take your boat out to Bahama Breeze, Hula Bay, all those cool restaurants down in Hooligans Beach, all those cool restaurants there. So let's jump into this great content here. We got Michael Lisinko. He's our Safe Money coach. Let's go ahead and lead off into this. And, when I think about safe money, you think about the tax implications. You think about market volatility. You think about these, the litigious society we live in. And one of the best things I like about Michael is that not only is he a great guy, but he is a fiduciary. And let's explain a little bit of that and maybe a little bit of background on your company, Michael.
Yeah, being a fiduciary means that we work for the clients, and everything we do is based on a needs analysis. So based on what a client needs, looking to accomplish, we will actually then go out and find the right program, right product for the client. And it's nice because I don't have to try to fit a round peg in a square hole, if you will. I can actually be more in relationship to that client and do the right job for them.
Yeah, it's very important, and there's the new book by Tony Robbins. We talked about it last time you were on, but he talks about this alphabet soup of different acronyms that we utilize. It's REITs and MBSs, LPs, and and in the book he says, what about WTF? There's so many ways. Wow, there's so many ways to package these things, and you got a lot of these so-called wealth advisors running around, and they take a course and they may claim that they're an expert, but essentially when you talk about a fiduciary, that's one of the first things you talk about is, are you a fiduciary? And Michael Lisinko is yes, check that box. Years of experience, decades of experience, check that box. Yeah,
I've been doing this about 25 years. Very good at what we do. One of the biggest challenges that people have is most advisors or people you'll talk to are focused on the products themselves. How do you grow the money? Where do you put it? Like you said, the MLPs, the REITs, 401ks, IRAs, all the alphabet soup that Tony Robbins talks about.
Yeah.
We do a different approach, kind of a backward, frontward approach, where we're actually developing a strategy for somebody.
Right.
The two biggest enemies to people's wealth are inflation and taxes.
Yep,
and if you're not having a conversation about inflation and taxes when you start putting your money away, you're behind the eight ball because your money has to work way too hard for you to make up for those two events.
Yeah, you got to call an audible. Sometimes you want to, change up your course of action.
And actually, I was just reading about CD rates. I think they're at like 0.23 or something like that, which Tony Robbins actually talks about in his book. But essentially, with inflation, you're actually losing money by putting your money into a CD. But it's just something standard, that everyone does because no one really understands.
Sure. And I'll tell you a really quick thing. Albert Einstein came up with what we call the rule of 72. You take the interest rate that you earn on your money, divide it into 72, he'll tell you how fast your money's doubling. So if you can get 4% interest on your money, it's going to double every 18 years. Wow. Well, if you're at a CD rate at 0.25%, it's going to double every 288 years.
288 years. That sounds like a good retention rate.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem that a lot of seniors have because they want the safety and the protection. They don't like the stock market because it's too volatile. So most of them move to the CDs, and now their money just isn't working for them. But the other thing you got to be careful of, if inflation's at 4%, that means 18 years from now things are going to be twice as expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
And 36 years from now, when most people are in retirement, things are going to be 4 times as expensive as they are today. What is the plan that we have in place to make sure that our money is keeping pace with inflation and the doubling periods?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's Michael Lisinko. He's our Safe Money coach, in case you just tuned in. And we're talking about ways that you can improve your retirement years. Michael, a lot of times people put more plans into their vacation plans or their fantasy football picks than they do things that matter.
Absolutely. And that's the problem. We have one shot at winning what I call the money game or the retirement game, which Tony Robbins talks about.
Yep.
If you don't do it right, you can't wake up at 60. You are calling an audible at that point, and it's too late because you got 30 seconds left and you're down by 2 touchdowns. It doesn't work. So it's really important that when you start a plan, and I don't care whether you're 20 just getting started out of college or you're 50 and 60 and kind of looking towards retirement, wherever you are, we got to make sure that we're doing it right the first time.
Right.
And so instead of coming across with a bunch of products, we're going to create an income plan for people. How do you make sure that when you get ready to retire and you don't want to work anymore, you have the same amount of income coming in that you do right now? Because that determines your lifestyle in retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to show you some money. Now, When you think about the retirement, and a lot of times people think they get kind of sucked into this paradigm of, man, if I hit the lottery or if I get a quick hit of 10 grand on a commission, I'm going to put that away. The real strategy here is, folks, is that you want to do it over time. That same Albert Einstein he called compounding the greatest invention of mankind. So if you put as little as $150, a couple $100 a month into one of these accounts, great opportunity to look back at age 60, 65 and say, I did a good thing.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting too is if you're trying to save enough money to put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in, it's really tough because life gets in the way. There's a lot of other things that you've got to do. If you're doing $100, $200 a month, you just take it out of your paycheck.
Right.
You get to the habit of paying yourself first. Warren Buffett suggests 10% of your income, pay that to yourself first.
Yep.
And it's amazing how that will accumulate over time. And all of a sudden you'll have the $10, $20, $30, $100,000 working for you.
And
That's
it's
your
more
freedom.
manageable. It's more manageable if you're doing $100, $150, $200. And many people out there even think that you can't save the money, but you don't have to buy Starbucks every day.
That's your freedom fund. Put it towards your freedom. And while we're on the subject, shouts out to Jarek Robbins. He's going to be on the show next week. Looking forward to that interview and having him on. And in case you missed last week's show,
Welcome to Miami. Bienvenido a
Samantha DiBianchi from Million Dollar Listing, Bravo's Million Dollar Listing Miami, was on the show. Check them all out on our podcast, iTunes.com. Check out our Real Estate Quarterback Show podcast. Check out the Facebook pages /Real Estate Quarterback Show. And more from our experts in studio. And we're going to talk about mortgage borrowers find it a bit easier to qualify. This just in from the Florida Realtor Association. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for 2 times in the last 2 years, recognized for my innovations with marketing, search engine optimization, YouTube video marketing. Got a radio show we promote on a couple different channels. We have a TV show now print advertising relationships. We're doing all those things right to help our sellers profit more on the sale of their properties. So reach out to the Real Estate Quarterback Show for all of your real estate needs. We've got an expert buyer team as well, and investors. We got some great passive income opportunities as well on the real estate side. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We've got an all-star lineup here, intelligent folk in studio. So we've got Michael Lisenko. He's our Safe Money coach. We got Jason Salmon, our co-host. And I also asked William Cawley to call in. Before we bring William on, we're going to talk about Global Pilot Academy and Captain Will Smith. He's actually teaching me how to fly, getting my pilot license, and having a great time with him over there at Tampa Executive Airport. And it's located kind of by I-4 and 301 there, just very close proximity to Tampa, and a great opportunity if you're looking to potentially learn how to fly, or you just want to take a discovery flight. He's offering half off of those flights, and also, they have the servicing side as well. So if you're a pilot out there, engage us. A couple different ways to engage. We got Facebook.com/Real Estate Quarterback Show. Consumer Advocate Hotline is 813-917-1894. And also, realestateradiotampa.com is a plethora of information. You can see links to all of our preferred partners. And again, just very happy to be living in the best Tri-City area in the United States. Talking about Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
So we're a consumer advocate here. We want to make you more street smart. We want to be your super connector for all things real estate and business. We want to provide quality introductions. And speaking of those quality introductions, I've got the best credit expert in the country here calling in. We've got William Crawley. I asked him to call in and give us an update on all things credit. What say you, Mr. Crawley?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. You're live and on air. Let's talk a little bit of credit. What's happening out there in that world, credit improvement?
Well, here's a little note, a little tidbit information. People have heard me around the area for the last 16 years talking about credit, and I like to generalize the term that everything on the person's credit report has been put there illegally. Now, illegally. That means positive and negative. And when I mean illegally, I mean violations of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So when people go look at the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they're not going to see that actual verbiage or terminology, but they're going to see the laws that say, for instance, this was not mine. Well, what it means is that it's not mine according to the credit reporting agency because they have not verified this information properly. Sure, in fact, it does belong to you because it is between you and the lender. That is true, but the credit reporting agencies have violated due process. So when I tell people everything on the credit report is inaccurate, that is exactly what I mean. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act alludes to it. It won't say it in detailed terms, but it alludes to it. Okay, so for those of you who are out there that have heard me in the past, sometimes people misunderstand what I'm saying, but the Fair Credit Reporting Act has been there since 1970, and it's there to protect our rights as consumers from the abuses of the credit reporting agencies. And believe me, they are abusing your rights.
Yeah,
I can go on and on, but I know this is a short show.
The credit companies, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, the credit bureaus, that is. And what we offer here, again, as a consumer advocate, we want to help you as a listener. We want to engage. So what we're going to offer here for the first 5 folks who call in or text, we've got a credit package that William Crawley, the credit magician, has put together for us. Now, what it's going to do is going to teach you a couple different things and help you with a couple different items dealing with your credit and credit improvement, and also reduction of your identity theft possibilities here. So, number one, we're going to teach you how to opt out of pre-screening. That means all that junk mail that you get sent to your mailbox, we're going to teach you how to opt out and reduce your chances of identity theft. And we're also going to offer you an opportunity to get a free credit report, a free annual report. And here's a hint. It's not those guys jumping around on TV, strumming the guitars, and asking for your credit card on the back-end solicitation. Okay, there's no drip campaign here. And also free credit advice. Hey, you want to sit down and talk to the credit magician, William Crawley? You can. He'll come to you, or you meet him at his office. So what we're going to do here, so if you just text the word credit to our Consumer Advocate Hotline at 813-917-1894, text credit to 813-917-1894. And if you're not a texter, you can call and leave a voicemail. My promise is to get back to you before my head hits the pillow that evening. So for the free credit package, we want you to reach out and engage. That's how we can help you live a better life and ultimately get in position to buy a home. We're going to talk about inventory levels here in a moment with Jason Salmon. We're going to talk about the rents on the rise at a 7-year high, I believe it is. So, William, thanks for calling in. I appreciate the nuggets of advice, sir. Okay, we must have lost him there. So let's go ahead and keep rolling here. Real Estate Quarterback Show. Thanks for tuning in. Got a couple of hot listings here. Speaking about Global Pilot Academy and Captain Will Smith, I meant to mention this listing here on Merlin Drive. Now, these are these cool houses where you have an airport hangar. You know, we all have garages and those types of things, maybe a boat in our backyard. But for this property here in Newport Richey, it's an opportunity at $99,000 to buy a 1 to 2 acre parcel here. It says build your dream home and airplane hangar on this beautiful wooded lot, vacant lot over 200 feet wide, tapers to 465 feet on the back. So for $100,000, and Hidden Lake is the estate here. Hidden Lake Estates on Merlin Drive. A great opportunity to get into that home buying opportunity. And we got 5506 Beeman Dew Loop in Land O'Lakes, 4 bedrooms, 5 1/2 bath in Lake Thomas Point. $1.275 million just reduced. That's a new price. And it's a custom-built high-end home situated on gorgeous Lake Thomas in a private gated community. And we're completing the aerial drone photography for that property. And that's going to be on our website. You can see that at realestateradiotampa.com. Also have another way that you can reach out. It's a Savvy Card. Everything we do here with the Real Estate Radio Show, Platinum MVP Realty, Crush Craft Marketing, we have a Savvy Card that's going to allow you to engage. So all you have to do is text REQB, like Real Estate Quarterback. Text REQB in the content of the message. Put that in to the content, and then in the to line where you'd put the phone number, 72889 is the short code. So text REQB to 72889, and you'll see all of our listings, profiles, links to all of our preferred partners, and some awesome information there in a way that you can engage us. So let's jump back to this, Michael. We got about a minute left here, but let's kind of pick up where we left off.
Okay. Where do you want me to start?
Let's go and let's talk about just ultimately, you know, hey, you got a great new office location. People want to sit down with you. That's over at 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue. Come sit down and get a consultation.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend that. Is one of the biggest issues that people have right now is worrying about running out of money, especially as you get older, closer to retirement. We also want to make sure that we have enough income to live off of, so we're maintaining lifestyles. If there's a gap, if there's not enough money coming in based on what you've got saved in your IRAs, 401ks, stocks, mutual funds, Social Security, whatever that is, we'll show you how some unique ways of making up that income gap now while you still have some time to do it. Our goal is just to make sure that every one of our client has a secure retirement that they don't have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. We want to help you, plan for those years, and that's what this show's all about. That's what makes us different. We don't have, advertisers. We have partners of the show. Everyone's kind of bought into this philosophy of moving the free line, helping people. We've got the Children's Cancer Center Gelatin Plunge coming up. It's the 3rd annual Children's Cancer Center Gelatin Plunge on crowdrise.com/Real Estate Quarterback Show is our page, and we're fundraising for that Saturday, June 13th. And more from our experts in studio, and we're going to talk about mortgage borrowers find it a bit easier to qualify when we come back. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by the Maids Cleaning Service. Residential and commercial cleaning. Do a great job on my properties. Come in with 4 folks come in and they clean it and they're in and out. Do a great job. The Maids, you see their cars running around town with their branding on it, the bright yellow branding. And also shots out to Joey Harper, Harper's Carpet Cleaning. Carpet cleaning, tile, grout, does a great job as well. Voted number 1 by his peers at a recent Las Vegas convention. So shots out to the Maids and Joey Harper, Harper's Carpet Cleaning. And we also have a couple of hot properties here. We got 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. This is a beautiful property. It's in Bayside Oaks, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, townhouse, $570,000. Bring your boat. It's a boater's paradise here with the newer Key West style townhouse with a 22-foot wide boat dock that will moor up to a 65-foot vessel. And not only that, you walk out the front door, you make a left, and within 2 to 3 minutes, you're crossing Gulf Boulevard, and you're on the Sugar Sand beaches here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also have 5907 Sheldon Road in Tampa, Florida. Waterfront, over 200 feet of waterfront, priced at $170,000 here. 5907 Sheldon Road in Tampa, Florida. Bay access, beautiful property, large backyard with over 200 feet of waterfront on the river, the canal front there that gets out to the bay, kind of by that, and accessing that same water we talked about earlier. And 3231 Pineview Drive in Holiday. This is a $475,000, another waterfront property in Bailey's Bluff Estate. 3231 Pineview Drive in Holiday, Florida. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath. Another open style 5 bedroom, 3 bath property here. Gorgeous opportunity to get into the home buying game. Get off the fence of home renting if you're out there renting. And shots out to Work Done Charities as well. We're the good guys here in Tampa Bay. Work Done Charities gave away, I saw on Facebook, his 143rd property that he gave down payment assistance for, working in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity. Shots out to WDC.
Work done. Work spins to the 10. He's to the 5, 4, 2. Touchdown.
Also have a relationship out there. Talked to Hector this week with HomestronguSA.org, getting ready to do a home giveaway in South Carolina where we give away a mortgage-free property to veterans and active military for every 25th to 30th home that we sell nationwide through that program, supporting our veterans, active military, first responders. Tampa Bay is a military town, and you know, we definitely have a place in our hearts for all of our vets out there. Shots out to our vets. We also offer discounts to veterans that want to purchase through Platinum MVP Realty. We'll rebate anywhere from 0.25% to 0.5% depending on the loan size of the properties there. So if you're a veteran out there, know someone who is, have them engage. Again, how do you engage the Real Estate Quarterback Show? Multiple ways. RealEstateRadioTampa.com or 813-917-1894. And let's go ahead and do that offer here. We're going to go. We're going to give you a $500 value here, basically a free appraisal on your home for the first 5 listeners who want to text in for that. We're going to give you a free comparable market analysis. All you have to do is text the word free appraisal or text value to 813-917-1894. Text value now for the first 5 listeners. We're going to give you a free CMA comparable market analysis on your property, and I already have a couple coming in. So 2 or 3 more spots left for that free comparable market analysis. And let's jump back into this great content. I got Michael Lisenko. He's our Safe Money coach, Safe Money Strategies here in studio. And also Jason Salmon, our expert buyer agent with Platinum MVP Realty, and also the VP heading up Crush Crap Marketing, and the Wolf in studio. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and lead off with that question, Jay. I think it's a great question, and let's help our consumers win out there.
Exactly. Actually, and this actually coming from Yahoo Finance, and they're talking about how foreign money is pouring into the U.S. real estate market. And it's kind of coming back to those high levels, you know, but without some of the, I think, the crazy things that were going on, you know, in the subprime mortgages and things like that. In the last 3 months alone, we had over $129 billion of foreign money flow into the U.S. real estate market, which is crazy. Yeah, with a B.
You know, and that reminds me of something. When you think about the millions and the billions and the trillions, and we kind of, you know, started hearing that $1 trillion word thrown around back in 08, 07. I think here's something I heard again from my number one mentor, Robbins. You know, he talks about how if you think about it in terms of seconds, I think it goes something like this, and these are approximations, guys, but, you know, a million seconds ago was something like 5 to 10 years. A billion seconds ago jumps you back another 50 to 60 years. And then a trillion seconds, you're talking about BC, before Christ. So if you think about the exponential growth there, millions, trillions, billions. And so Jason just described, we got how many billions of dollars flowing into the United States?
129 billion in the last 3 months.
Okay, 129 billion in the last 3 months. Now, it makes me think about an old adage here. It's kind of like we're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, Michael.
Exactly.
Yep.
Where else are you going to put your money?
Well, and that's the problem. You've got to look for places where you can get decent interest rates and you can protect principal, because it doesn't do you any good to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or one step forward and 2 steps back, if you're constantly, like Patton used to say, you never want to retake the same ground twice.
Right, exactly.
It's so true with our money, because at some point, everybody's going to want to retire. They're going to want to start living off of what they've put away. Quality of retirement, quality of life is based on 2 things: how much you can accumulate, but even more importantly, how much that accumulation can now be converted into a steady stream of income.
Yeah, how much you save. Think about these types of ideas here, and that also leads to another point here. When you think about the opportunities that Michael's going to present to you with taking advantage of the upside of the market and eliminating that downside of the market, taking advantage of the tax-free options that you have there, both when you're accumulating that wealth and when you take it out. When we sat down a couple of weeks ago, I loved that the conversation. It was really interesting about some of these new vehicles that you have.
Yeah. And just to touch on real quick on that same point is, in the end, it's all about the return. It's all about what you're protecting, what you can hold in principal, and that return that you're getting. And I think what a lot of people forget out there, when you're visiting, these fee farms, which is that kind of buzzword that they talk about, is that's cutting into your return.
Yeah.
And they're hidden and they're described as like administrative fees and all this other nonsense, but like it has nothing to do with your return. And they'll give you a return number. Oh, you're making X percentage, but they're not including those fees. And so it completely changes the number. It completely changes the amount of money you're making.
And one of the things that really changes, and people don't think of this as a fee, is taxes.
Exactly.
If you're in a 20% tax bracket, you got to pay a 20% fee on your money that you pull out or you accumulate before you ever access $1 yourself. What if taxes go up in the next 10 or 15 years as people get closer to retirement?
Yeah.
Now what do you do? It's 30, 35, 40%. You're asking your money to work 40% harder potentially just so you can keep the same amount.
Yeah, and I think we all somewhat agree with the way our government's been going lately. It's not going to go down. They're most likely going to go up, unless we get, and we kind of steer clear of politics on this show. But anyways, unless we get certain people in. But, hey, back to that point, Jason, what I was explaining as well is that, your industry, Michael, is one of the only industries that they say, for example, you can buy the equivalent of a $30,000 car. You could pay $30,000 with one firm, but then you could pay $300,000 if you went to another firm when you take into account the computing of the fees.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be careful of that. That's why it's important to get a good sense of what you're trying to accomplish before you ever start talking about products.
Right.
And that's what we do, is we want to make sure that we match up the product or the program with the client's needs. So it fits like a glove. It's perfectly and custom designed specifically for you.
Yeah, and I like that policy you showed me a few weeks ago, where you can take X amount of dollars, and if you like it, you can continue to do the same type of policy, and you could do the same thing again and again. Ultimately, I guess there's some limitations, but man, you talked about tax free and tax when you take it. What was tax deferred?
Tax deferred growth, and then tax advantaged distribution.
Yeah.
So you're basically, and part of the issues that we have when we're in tax deferred vehicles like IRAs, 401ks. Good vehicles for growing your money, but you just have to be aware that the IRS is your partner in retirement.
Sure.
They get to determine the percentage that they get. So in the beginning, you may get a 20 or 30% discount, but in the back end, you could pay the same amount on all of the money coming out, and you have no say in it.
So did you bring your crystal ball today or no?
You
forgot it?
Actually, I have it, but it's in the shop. It's broken.
Okay.
I'll let you know when it's fixed.
So here's what we got. We got traditionally over every 17 years or so, there's 3 bear markets. We've had the .com crash in 2000. We had the 2007 real estate and mortgage bubble. So now we still have that third one lingering, don't we?
Yep. And the problem is nobody knows when.
Right.
The market right now is going gangbusters. It'll be down a couple days. It'll be up a couple days. I looked a little bit ago. It's up 180 points today. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows when it's going to correct? In 2008, when it went down in October, it went down like 32% in 8 days.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So it's hard to know. And all I can say is just be protected against that eventual decline. It's going to happen. Nothing can go up. It's just like real estate. It can't constantly go up.
Sure.
It's going to correct. Well, the opportunities for growth is during those corrections. The problem is that if your principal is affected by the correction, now you got to make up all that ground that you just lost.
Right.
So if you can protect your principal, if you can look for those opportunities when the market corrects to get back in or keep going in, you end up with more money in your pocket.
Yeah.
And I even think of it sometimes as like you're playing the game of Jenga, you know what I mean? And so, now we're waiting on this next crash. And so people are just pulling out pieces and you're just waiting for the whole thing to fall down. And so you don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen if you keep pulling out the pieces.
And that's, chasing stocks. I don't think that's a great philosophy,
Throwing darts.
strategy there. This Facebook, this and that. Hey, yeah, that's if you have a long-term play, you've got that extra money laying around. Obviously as the real estate quarterback show, the quarterback on the team, I'm loving real estate right now, especially when you couple that with 3 to 4% interest rates. We're not quoting a certain rate. We don't want the mortgage police coming after us. But when you couple those and you have the opportunities to sit with intelligent folks, we want you to do that. We want to engage. We want to help you live a better life. That's the goal here of the show. We have this QAA formula. You're going to have questions. We want to provide answers, but we want to give you these action items. So that's how you can engage us on our websites, calling and texting in to engage. And we also have some other opportunities coming up with these different events that we're putting on as well, and looking at some cool stuff. By the way, we've got the Children's Cancer Center Gelatin Plunge coming up on Saturday, June 13th. The hashtag is CCCGP, and it's going to be at the West Shore Boulevard AAA building there. And the Real Estate Quarterback Show is going to be there. When I told my daughter I'm going to be sliding into a gelatin plunge on a large pool.
In full football pads, right?
That's right. We're going to get the football pads out. I'm sure I have them somewhere. But so let's support the Children's Cancer Center. Go to the CrowdRise page /Real Estate Quarterback Show and Gelatin Plunge, and let's raise some money for these great organizations, these hardworking folks, these great souls out there that are working to better our communities and ease those times of transition for these families. So you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
thanks for sticking with us. Appreciate you hanging in with us here. Real Estate Quarterback Show. I'm Brandon Rhymes here, host of the show. Platinum MVP Realty, Crushcraft Marketing. And this segment is brought to you by Smart Move Moving and Storage. Doing a great job for our customers when we close these transactions. They're moving, doing their short-run moves. And Smart Move Moving and Storage, another Pinellas Realtor Organization affiliate. We've got a lot of affiliates on our show, partnerships here. John Barcelo comes to mind with ATR, and doing a great job for us. We love the ability to work with the Realtor Association there. And also, we got some hot properties here. We got a best bidder sale going on, basically a mini auction here. Owner is very motivated on this property at 16230 Sea Pines Drive in Hudson. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, completely renovated, a nice property here, over 2,000 square feet at $120,000. $120,000 for 16230 Sea Pines Drive in Hudson. It's on the west side of US 19. And we got 521 Rimini Vista Way in Sun City Center. Beautiful property, gorgeous home here. 3 bedrooms, 3-bath in this private community. And it's got a beautiful community center there with the gym and the sauna and the steam rooms, everything that you want, a clubhouse. Really cool to have that opportunity. And also, it's one of those golf cart communities. A lot of folks run around and whizzing around in their golf carts. And 1870 Main Street is an 11-unit cash cow property. We've got 11 units here at 1870 Main Street. The owner tells me she never has any vacancy because of the high walkability of these properties here. 11 units, cash cow, priced at $1.1 million for that opportunity there. So you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We can engage in multiple ways, and you know what we want to talk about on this segment here, Jason. I got the Wolf in studio here, Jason Salmon, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff happening with the rents. You know, the Harvard University did a study a couple weeks back, actually several months back, that talked about the rents are rising, and you know that has continued to perpetuate. You know, back in a couple years ago, we had all these cash buys, a lot of cash flying around. Everybody heard about it. The hedge funds, these big groups coming in buying up properties. What they were doing is renovating and renting them, and that's wise on their part. But the flip side of that is you've got all these short sales and people that are forced out of their homes through these unethical lending practices. So what happened is now you got a lot of renters out there, and people know it. So what are they going to do? Increase the rents.
Exactly. Yeah. The rents really are going up, and the National Real Estate Research Association actually just came out with an article kind of echoing that a little bit, but that the rents are at 7-year highs.
Wow.
The rents continue to go up. And you know you're throwing that money in a trash can that's on fire.
That's right. You get to live somewhere, but you don't get to take advantage of the tax write-offs. You don't get to take advantage of the appreciation that we're seeing. Again, living in one of the best areas of the country, we're seeing anywhere from 3 to 5% on the low end to 10, 15, 20% on the higher end properties in certain areas. You know, your South Tampas, your beach properties. Some of these areas are seeing more appreciation. So, you know, what we want to do as a consumer advocate here is, if you're a renter out there, we want you to get off of that fence. We want to engage you, and this is, you know, if you're brave enough here, I want you to text in. If you're renting right now and you're a brave soul and you want to live a better legacy for your family, what we want you to do is we want to text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying. And what we're going to do, we're going to break it down for you in dollars and cents. We're going to show it to you on a spreadsheet and show you the amount of money that you're wasting each month paying your landlord's mortgage. Yeah, you got to live somewhere, but you know you can't throw the cool parties and all that fun stuff. Well, maybe you can. You can get away with it. But you know, hey, what we want to do, text the word rent, the amount of rent that you're paying, to our consumer advocate hotline at 813-917-1894. We're going to give you a rent versus own analysis. It's going to break down the amount of money that you're paying in rent versus what you could be building up in equity, taking advantage of tax advantages, the appreciation, all the pros and cons weighed out for you in plain, simple English. So if you're brave enough, text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to 813-917-1894. That's our consumer advocate hotline. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the lightning round. Okay, lightning round. What we've got here is top consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid. So, Michael, you're up first.
My biggest advocacy tip is to become educated. Find out what you want to do. Get a good sense of where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. Sit down. Let us ask you some questions. You can ask us some questions. Become educated. the system that we're in right now, the financial system, is not designed for the consumer.
Right.
It really is designed for the bigger organizations, the
stockholders,
stockbrokers, Wall Street, things like that. Big companies, not for us. When they got rid of pensions back in the 70s, they created a system where we are responsible for most of our future, most of our retirement. But it never came with an instruction manual.
Right.
It'd be like buying real estate without somebody that you can get some advice from on the real estate market. Same thing with finances. Get the advice. Sit down. We're not going to sell you anything. We're going to educate you. We're going to figure out what you're trying to accomplish. If there's a fit, we'll figure it out. We'll work together to make it happen. And the goal is to get you to a secure retirement as quickly as possible. And for those people that are young out there, it doesn't have to be 65 or 70. It can be 50, 55.
Right.
As long as you get started early enough.
That's right. Small amounts over time are going to compound. It's going to take advantage of all what we talked about earlier in the earlier segments. So, Michael, we also have an offer here. We're going to offer a sit-down consultation. And
no cost.
No cost consultation. So for the first three, we got to limit this to 3 listeners here for this one, but because Michael charges a good hourly rate on some of the other things that he offers here. But what we're going to do is for the first 3 listeners for the consultation to sit down, and you'll either make house calls.
Absolutely.
So in his office or in your home, the comfort of your own home, text the word Safe Money to 813-917-1894. Text Safe Money now to 813-917-1894. If you're not a texter, you can call, leave a message, and then also you can send an email on from our website, realestateradiotampa.com. Just hit submit the form, and all those emails come directly to me. So consumer advocate tips from Mr. Salmon here, our co-host.
It's funny, actually, last week, Michael, my tip was read a book. You know what I mean? So to kind of educate yourself, it's along the same lines. But my tip this week is actually going to be to set a goal. Whether it's a financial goal, a personal goal, a health goal, whatever it is, set a goal and then make specific action steps to reach that goal. I think too many people, they just live their lives, and then at the end they're like, what happened? Where did it go? What did I do? And so that's my tip today, is to set a goal.
Yeah, measurable goals. They always talk about measuring those goals and having those benchmarks that you can take a look at. And let's go along those same lines here. I like this one is set a morning routine. Wake up an extra half hour early, go for a 15-minute walk, 15 minutes of fulfillment, and clear your mind. Listen to an audiobook, and let's start off your day right. And maybe if you're a spiritual person, you might read a little scripture. But whatever is going to be the best opportunity for you to start your day with momentum. You want to get positive momentum, because that's going to build, and you're going to be able to live a better life like that. And ultimately, reach out. Let us help you with any decisions that you have: real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, retirement planning, all these different areas. We want to be your super connector here with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Let's do one more round.
Okay. Again, I like what Jason said about setting a goal. Figure out what your goal is. Figure out what you're trying to accomplish. We got one shot at doing this, and I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about helping people. You need to know some of the things that I know. And it's going to change the quality of your life. It's going to change maybe the way you make some decisions financially. We only have a certain amount of money. We only have a certain amount of time. Nobody's different. You talk about the yachts, and everybody's sitting out there looking at, where's the individual's yachts? They're always the corporate and all that other stuff. You can have whatever you want in life that you want to have. You just got to know where you're going, and then develop a plan, and then work with somebody to make that plan a reality.
That's right. Yeah, hey, another great show here, and we want you to tune in next week. Listen to Jarek Robbins. He's Anthony Robbins' son, and man, I've been listening to a lot of his content on SoundCloud and these different podcasts, and man, he is a chip off the old block there. He's a great speaker, very eloquent spoken, and I'm very looking forward to that interview next week, Jason, and another great show. Thanks for everybody in studio, everybody helping us out behind the scenes, and of course all of our listeners out there. We really appreciate you tuning in each week. We're seeing a lot more hits to our websites, and the call to actions. We're getting a lot of response. So thanks so much for listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and check us out at realestateradiotampa.com.